हमारी कॉन्फ्रेंस में थी।
हाँ।
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Sheetal, you're there, and others?
Hi, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Should I start the recording?
I think if all have joined, we should start. Principal sir has joined.
Principal sir won't be able to join them.
Okay, okay, you talked to him, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Chalo, Sheetal.
But I think we can start. We can start the procedure.
Yeah, we should start then on time. Yeah.
We can begin. Very good afternoon to all of you, friends. On behalf of the CDRT at the Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Khalsa College, I welcome all of you to this very important faculty development program that we are doing. It is being, of course, hosted by the Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center at Khalsa College, which organizes and executes faculty development programs, faculty induction programs, and other teacher training modules from time to time. And we are also offering this faculty development program in collaboration with the CDRT Kirodimal College, which is a pioneering organization or initiative of its kind to start this entire range of activities related to disability studies and also thinking about and implementing research on making education accessible to persons who are suffering from one or the other form of disability. Now, disability, from what my experience as a student of disability, I can tell you that disability is not something that is intrinsic or inborn in anybody. People suffer from impairments of limbs, impairments of the senses. There are certain learning forms of learning impairments that we will have occasion to look at as well during the course of this FDP. But when those impairments are used by institutions and by the society at large to cut off access to a wholesome experience of life, that is when the impairment transforms into a kind of disability, the onus for which lies in the society that is not able to address that impairment in a way that access is not affected. And therefore, disability becomes a form of marginalization. And if you look at every form of marginalization that has existed in our society, at least from the time of our independence, I can safely say that it is only through education that we have been able to overcome or fight different forms of social and cultural marginalization and allow or ensure that people who have had to suffer these different forms of marginalization are able to transform their lives and recover a sense of agency with which they can write the scripts of their own destiny. This is the same with disabilities, and that is why educational initiatives remain pivotal to addressing the forms of marginalization that are attendant upon these different experiences of disability and forms of impairment that people face in our society. And with that idea in mind, Delhi University has opened itself up to many scholarly, academic, and activist initiatives in this field of addressing different forms of disabilities. Kirori Mal College has shown the way. We have a Center for Disabilities Research and Training at the Apex University level also, which is currently in its very formative stages, but it is being helmed by Professor Anil Aneja, who's also the head of the, currently the head of the English department at the University of Delhi. And he, I hope, is going to join us during the course of this FDP. But the person who has really been the engine for such initiatives in the at the university level and also inspired us to start the disability CDRT, the Center for Disability Research and Training in our college, is Professor Someshwar Sati, who has started this initiative at Kirori Mal College. We are honored to have him as one of the inaugural speakers today. And there is, of course, Professor Vimal Rad, who heads the Guru Angad Dev Teaching and Learning Center, and she is helming the most crucial efforts at teacher education and training, as well as teaching learning in a blended mode in our university. Professor Vimal Rad will address you shortly, and she will formally inaugurate this event. We have Dr. Ritwik Bhattacharjee, who is the current secretary of the CDRT, and this FDP is his brainchild. He's also joined us for the inaugural session. And we have Krishna Warrior from St. Xavier's College, Mumbai, who is going to conduct the inaugural session. It's a kind of an ice-breaking session where he will communicate the idea of disability in a way that I can assure you is going to be a very novel experience, something that is going to take us out of our comfort zones, but in a most positive way. So without further ado, of course, I'm introducing myself. I'm Saikat Ghosh. I teach English at Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Khalsa College. And for the time being, I'm the convener of the CDRT, which we have started in collaboration, as I said, with the Kirori Mal College CDRT as a kind of allyship model on disability studies and research. So I welcome you all again, and I hand it over to Professor Vimal Rad for the further proceedings. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Saikat and the entire team. Let me just share my screen. I welcome each one of you in this one-week online faculty development program on understanding disability. And this is being organized in a collaborative mode by Center for Disability Research and Training, CDRT, SCTB Khalsa College, University of Delhi, in association with CDRT Kirori Mal College and Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center, a center of Ministry of Education under the prestigious Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya National Mission on Teachers and Teaching. First of all, before I welcome each one of you, good afternoon to each one of you, all those who have joined, and especially the entire team of coordinators and organizers. And my special gratitude goes to Professor Dinesh Khattar, Principal, Kirori Mal College, Professor Someshwar Sati, who is handling the CDRT Kirori Mal College, my all colleagues from SCTB Khalsa College who are coordinating this FDP, in the leadership of Dr. Shekhar and Dr. Ritvik and all others. And once again, all dear colleagues who have joined as participants in this 1 week online faculty development program on understanding disability. I welcome each one of you on behalf of GAD-TLC. That's how now we are abbreviated and popularly known as. It's Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center, situated at my own premier institution, Shri Guru Tegh Bahadur Khalsa College, University of Delhi. I welcome you on behalf of SGTB Khalsa College and on behalf of University of Delhi. We are seeking blessings from Guru Angad Dev Ji, the second of the 10 Sikh Gurus, and taking this humble and noble cause, where my colleague Dr. Shekhar mentioned that let us all help each other. I will not say train. Teachers, training is a very big word. It's just like helping each other. Whoever knows which particular area has some expertise, they should be coming forward as resource person and sharing with the other fellow colleagues. And that is how we are taking this GAD-TLC. It is by the teachers and for the teachers. And that's why we are conducting so many collaborative programs, because our core team has some expert area like MOOCs and e-content and other pedagogies and the technical tools which can be used in teaching learning. But then that is not all the teaching community needs. And here, if I look into this particular program, this is really something which is the need of the hour for especially the areas where I think it will be going into how the education spaces can be used to empower not only the teachers, but the students in it. I also welcome you on behalf of our core team of GAD-TLC, Padma Bhushan Trilochin Singh sir, who is the chairman, governing body, SGTB Khalsa College, mentor of GAD-TLC, Professor Ved Prakash sir, former chairman, UGC, Professor A.K. Bakshi, who is the chairman, GAD-TLC, former vice chancellor, PDM University, Professor K.V. Bhanumurthy sir, Professor N.K. Chadha sir, Professor Jaswinder Singh sir, who is the director, GAD-TLC, and principal, SGTB Khalsa College. He was supposed to join here, but I think there's some urgent meeting, and he will be joining in due course when we are having this FDP. And I am Vimal Rar. I am handling this GAD-TLC at SGTB Khalsa College. This center was inaugurated on 1st July 2016 by the then Honorable HRD Minister Smriti Juveen Irani ji. And since then, we have been working for the faculty empowerment programs, which have taken proper shape of FIP, FDPs, various webinars, workshops, both face-to-face and online. And not only that is just one way, we also involve the teachers in the e-content development, which they can utilize in their own spaces in the form of open educational resource as teachers e-kit, and also some e-learning objects. So these were the major activities. And if I talk about the various programs which have taken shape, and all these can be used for the professional development and as well as the promotional requirement, which we call as the CAS 2018. Under that, we can use for the promotional requirement. But more than the promotional requirement, what I think is we always have to continuously keep on updating ourselves. And that's how we now conduct programs in various areas, which are seminars, webinars, workshops. These are 1 to 3 days duration programs. We also conduct conferences. And now we have also aligned with some international colleges and universities where we conduct international events as well. Faculty development programs of 2 types, 1 week of 30-hour duration and 2 weeks of 60-hour duration. Leadership development program for administration and senior teachers. Faculty induction program, this is a 1-month program which is now compulsory for every new inductee in higher education for the first level promotion. And this teacher e-kit is actually a rigorous 6 months activity where after attending a FDP, teachers form a group and in their own subject, they are evolving that how the technology and the newer pedagogies can be used for teaching their particular subjects. We also have a center which is Center for E-Learning, where as a group we started to explore and how the e-content development and realize that teachers lack these skills, and that's how the GAD-TLC actually evolved. And in EPG Pathshala project under Center for E-Learning, we have successfully developed 89 courses for the EPG Pathshala in these 6 subjects, out of which 42 MOOCs have been developed, and more than 50 MOOCs we have created from our center, which also includes awareness on cancer. So Cancer Fundamental, this is an open self-paced MOOC available on SWAM portal. So I will really request all those who are interested, they should join this and try to see how the content and all can be, so that if you have something in your own subject, it can be taken further. The faculty induction program, not only we are conducting, we have also given inputs in designing this for the ministry. And I am thankful to the Ministry of Education for putting my institution name on this very important document, which conveys what are all the modules to be covered in faculty induction program. And we have been conducting various face-to-face programs throughout the country. But after April 2020, when the corona pandemic came, we had to shift to online. But then the number escalated till 2020. From 2016, we touched more than 9,000 teachers. But from 2020 onwards, it is now 80,000 plus teachers. And this teacher secret is my own conceptualization, where more than 2,000 teachers are now participating, and 5 API for the e-content in 4-quadrant format they can gain, provided they, as a group, complete the one entire paper. We also have a National Resource Center of Chemistry, where we have the mandate of conducting ARPIT program. And since 2018, 19, 20, we had conducted these programs. May 2020, again, Smriti Jubin Irani ji came to our college and felicitated the entire GAD-TLC team. So once again, I will like to pay gratitude to the entire team, right from Professor Bakshi, Professor Bhanumurthy sir, Professor Chadda, Professor Jaswinder Singh sir, and I welcome you on behalf of each of them. In this particular program, I'm especially grateful to the entire team of the CDRT from both Kirodimal College and my own college, my colleagues. And especially my gratitude goes to all the resource persons who will be joining and sharing their expertise. And rather, every colleague of us, they expertise in some particular area. And I think their life's effort we can hear in 1 or 2 or 3 sessions. So that's the power in these FDPs which we have. And I'm sure all the participants will be really benefiting. And not only benefiting as participant, I look forward that if you can also evolve your own area and eventually try to be resource persons in some of those areas and try to help other colleagues. So with these words, once again, special thanks to the CDRT Kirodimal College and principal of Kirodimal College to have collaborated with this. And one word before I close is like, please be regular in the attendance, assignment, quizzes, and projects. The details will be told by my team here. We will be providing flexible mode, but be regular. And you have to complete all the assignments. Otherwise, we will be only able to give you certificate of participation, on which it will be clearly mentioned that this cannot be used for CAS. But as I mentioned, more than CAS requirement, it is a learning which is going to be really meaningful to all of us. And so once again, thank you everyone. And over to you, Shekhar. And I wish all the very best to the program. And rather than, I will say, you said that I will inaugurate, I'll rather request Professor Someshwar Sati to do that honor. I am not expert in this area. So please, I just welcome on behalf of Principal Sir and GAD-TLC. So over to you, Shekhar.
Thank you so much, Professor Vimal. You've actually done what I was supposed to do. You've done my job. Thank you for that as well. So I now invite Professor Someshwar Sati, who, as I had told you all previously, is the main engine behind this initiative. And he's the man with the sort of larger perspective, as it were. And I would request him to share the vision of such an FDP with all of us and to get it formally started. Thank you and welcome, Professor Sati.
Thank you, Saikat, for those kind and generous words. But I think I would like to invite Professor Khattar first, because he has taken some time out from his busy schedule, and he has joined us. So, Professor Khattar, would you like to inaugurate the program and share a few words with the participants and the organizers? It's over to you, Professor Khattar. It seems that Professor Khattar had to leave. Saikat, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Professor Khattar is saying that he is unable to unmute himself.
Okay. I would request Rupali to look into this.
Can you
hear me, Sumeshwar, now?
Yeah,
Yes.
now we can hear
Yes, we
you.
can all hear you.
So, good afternoon, everyone. On this auspicious occasion of Guru Purnima, it gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to the one-week online faculty development program on understanding disability, organized by Center for Disability Research and Training, Kirodimal College, and CDRT SGTB Khalsa College, in collaboration with Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center. This program aims to sensitize the faculties from across the country about the needs and requirements of PWD students on college campus. As educational institutions, we are mandated to create a level playing field for students with disabilities and provide them with a wholesome, inclusive educational experience. This has also always been a cherished goal of Kirodimal College, and today we have over 110 disabled students in the college. It has always been our endeavor to create an inclusive ecosystem in the college and make these students feel at home by providing them with necessary human support and an effective delivery service mechanism run by our committed volunteers. It has also always been our effort to provide the necessary accommodation to these students and mold our pedagogical practices and infrastructural environments in accordance with the needs of these students. This program should be seen as a part of our multifold effort to create disability-friendly campus. Today also marks the inauguration of our Memorandum of Understanding with Khalsa College, according to which CDRT Kirodimal College will assess Khalsa College's setup of a Center for Disability Research and Training of its own. This FDP is in fact the first event to be organized under the auspices of this MOU, and we look forward to having many more joint ventures of the time. I'm sure that the participants of this FDP will have over the next week an enriching experience that shall make them revisit the way they perceive and respond to disability and disabled people. So once again, congratulations CDRT Kirodimal College and CDRT Khalsa College for organizing this unique event. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Khattar, and thank you, Professor Khattar, for having inaugurated this event and for your encouraging words. Professor Khattar has really done my job and preempted what I would have in mind and the thoughts that I would like to share with you. But as a starting point, let me share with you the fact that CDRT Kirodimal College was set up only 2 years ago. It was officially launched on the 30th of September, 2021. And in its short span of less than 2 years, we have collaborated with various academic institutions across the country and organized many faculty development programs, international conferences, seminars, sensitization workshops, and so on. Today, we are working in partnership with 7 different colleges from across the country in attempting to popularize disability studies and sensitize people about disability. Khalsa is one of our dear partners, and both Saikat and Ritwik, as well as Shweta, are products of Kirorimal College. And they carry that rich tradition into Khalsa, and we are happy to collaborate with them. But above all, I would like to thank the participants for being here, and we really hope that you will enjoy and educate yourselves by taking part in this course, which has been especially designed to enhance your awareness about matters pertaining to disability, particularly in the context of the campus. This is the second FDP that we have organized. The first FDP we had organized in collaboration with Mizoram University and the Xavier's Center for the Visually Challenged. I'm very happy to see that the Xavier's Resource Center for the Visually Challenged is still a part of this program. We have with us Krishna Warrior, who is going to conduct the inaugural sensitization session. This session will really be a revelation. It will make you aware of the potential of your other senses and realize that disabled people are people, that they are persons first, more than anything else. So welcome Krishna, welcome Ganesh, and I am sure that the two of you will hold the audience captive, and at the end of the session, they would be a completely transformed group of people with new ideas about disability and disabled people. I am sure that in the course of the FDP, we will learn a number of things that may appear obvious, but was never noticed. So thank you for collaborating with us, Khalsa. Thank you for being here, participants, and I hope that we will really have an enriching and memorable experience over the next 7 days. Thank you. It's over to you, Saikat.
Thank you so much, Professor Sati. Now I would request Rupali Sharma to take over from me. Rupali is going to conduct the proceedings officially, and she is going to invite Krishna Warrior ji, Ganesh ji to conduct the first session of this FDP. So over to you, Rupali.
Thank you, Shekhar. So first, I'll begin with introducing the St. Xavier's Resource Center for the Visually Challenged. As Professor Someshwar Sati has already mentioned, but I'll still give a brief introduction. The Xavier's Resource Center for the Visually Challenged was started in 2003 as an effort to ensure an inclusive environment at St. Xavier's College, one of the most well-known educational institutions in the country, for its students with blindness and low vision. Having created an inclusive setup for its own students, keeping with the college's long tradition of creating social impact within the larger community, the center has today become a national advocacy and support center for the blind and low vision across the country and this city. Today we have Mr. Krishna Warrior, who has spent close to 25 years as a journalist and felt an urge to take up an assignment with a non-profit organization in the area of disability. Among other things, he sees to the volunteer requirements and the scholarship process, maintains reports of the varied activities at the center that is he part of, and also focuses on the advocacy and awareness programs. He likes to trek, play table tennis and teach. And without further ado, I would like to invite him to take the floor.
Before that, just to thank you so much, Rupali. I would request everyone to please switch on their cameras as and when Professor Krishna Warrior comes and conducts the session. Thank you.
Thanks a lot to all the organizers. The reason that you just heard about the announcement that you need to keep your cameras on is because we're going to do a few activities today. And I'm really hoping that these activities will open your eyes up to a world that perhaps we all know exists around us, but perhaps we don't know as much as we should. This is actually a very immersive session where we will be blindfolding ourselves for about 20-25 minutes. I had sent across some instructions, Dr. Rupali. I'm not sure whether everybody's got them. If you have received the instructions, you can just give me a thumbs up. I'll know that everybody's got the instructions. Yes, wonderful. I can see some thumbs ups going up. Yeah, so that's great. Thanks to those of you who have switched your cameras on. Let me just request once again, as many people as possible, if you can keep your cameras on, it will be wonderful. The reason I'm saying this is because I will need to see you when you do these activities. One of the things that I had mentioned in the set of instructions was to carry a set of blindfolds. I hope that you have blindfolds with you. I'm going to show you my blindfold. It'll be nice if I can see yours as well before you actually wear it. In case there are any participants here today with visual impairment, you don't really need to wear the blindfolds for obvious reasons. You can just take part in the activities by being very active listeners and active contributors to the discussion once we finish, right? So those of you who have kept your cameras on, I can see Saurabh Kumar, Shivraj Shastri, Ambut Sharma, Professor Neenu Kumar. If you can just show me your blindfolds, we can get started, right? This is the one that I'm showing you. Perfect. Yeah, I can see Chetan's. Thank you very much. Let me just see if anybody else has switched their cameras on. Like I said, it'll be nice if you can keep your cameras on and be part of this activity. Wonderful. So before we actually start and before you wear your blindfolds, just a few quick announcements about how we're going to conduct this session. Once you wear your blindfolds, you will not be able to see me and I will only be able to hear you, right? That's going to be a challenge in terms of communication, how we communicate with each other. Yes, thank you. I can see a lot of you showing me your blindfolds. So when we wear the blindfolds, the easiest way to communicate would be if once you wear your blindfold, if I say something, if I ask you to do a particular activity, you agree with it, you are ready to do it and you've completed it, you can just give me a thumbs up like this. Remember that the thumbs up that the Zoom call allows you to give is not going to be available to you because you'll be wearing a blindfold. So if you can just give me a thumbs up like this, it'll be wonderful. If you need some more time to do a particular activity, just in front of the camera, you can do this. That'll be nice as well. And if you're not able to do a particular activity because you haven't got the materials available, I had requested you to keep some sheets of paper, bottle of water next to you. If any of those materials are not available and you cannot take part in any of the activities, you can just do this. I will know that you're not able to do that, which is all right. It's not necessary for everybody to take part in all the activities, but I would encourage you to do that. As Professor Saikat said, he had attended one of the sessions earlier and he found it quite enriching. And I'm sure you will find it enriching as well, right? If you're good to start, I'm going to just ask all of you for a minute to shut your eyes. Don't wear your blindfolds, just shut your eyes for a minute. And if all of you have kept your eyes shut now, and if you can hear me very clearly, can you give me a thumbs up in front of your laptops? Wonderful. Yes, wonderful. Okay, open up your eyes. Thanks a lot. Open your eyes. See, this is exactly the way we're going to communicate. I could see most of you, but there were some of you, instead of doing it here, for example, you were doing it somewhere here. If you can see me on the screen. Now that will pose a problem for me if you push your thumb away to the left or the right. So just remember that whatever you do with your finger, with your hand, it will have to be in front of that camera on your laptop, right? Great. So before we start, a very quick suggestion to all of you: take a good look at the room where you are currently sitting. It might be possible that you might have to take a few steps to your left, to your right, walk a little bit, do a few of these activities. So take a good look at what this room looks like. How tall is the ceiling? Is there a stool which is close to me? In case I start walking, am I going to stumble on some obstacle? Am I going to hit a stool or a chair? Take a good look and see whether there are any wires that are running on the floor below you that you might trip on. If you're using a laptop or a computer screen, it's quite possible that there might be wires as well. And in case you're ready, I would suggest that all of you wear your blindfolds so that we can start the activities. Excellent. Thank you very much. I can see many of you wearing the blindfolds. Yes, that is nice. So in case you're ready, we can start. The moment I see most of the people with their, yes, Professor Nino, can you hear me? Just give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Yes, wonderful. Ambujji, yes, excellent. All right. Chetan, can you hear me as well? Wonderful. Excellent. All right. So I can see that a lot of people are ready to go. Let me just see if I can see any other people with their cameras on. All right. Okay. So let's get started in that case. For the first activity today, what I would like you to do is take one sheet of paper and a pen in your hand. Those of you who have your cameras on, definitely you can do this. Those of you who are not able to keep your cameras on, if you are wearing blindfolds, please take one sheet of paper and a pen in your hand. Yes, one sheet of paper and a pen in your hand. Perfect. Okay. All of us know what the shape of a heart looks like, the emoji of the heart looks like, right? So I'm going to encourage you, without being able to see the paper, to try and draw the emoji of a heart and show it to me. Show me the paper after you draw it. Just hold the paper in front of your camera. I'll be able to see it. A simple technique that you can use is keep your left hand. Yes, Ambujji has shown me. That's nice. Wonderful. Excellent. Okay, I'll wait for the others as well. Yeah, that's nice. Professor Nino Kumar has showed me the Chetan. If you can make it a little bigger, bahut chota dil banaya aapne. Let's see if you can make a nice big one, a bigger heart. Yes, wonderful. We'll wait for you, Chetan. Don't worry. Anybody else would like to show me your heart? Yeah, but some of you are not wearing your blindfolds, so I would encourage you to wear your blindfolds and do this activity. Very easy to make. To draw something when you're able to see it, but the challenge is to do it. Yes, Chetan, now bahut bada dil banaya, as big as the one that you have. Wonderful. Good to see that. Monica Sawant is also, I think, attempting to show me something. Okay, I'll wait. No worries. No worries. Are we ready for activity number 2? Yes, no, thumbs up, thumbs down, or do you need some more time? Thumbs up. All right. Many of you have given me a thumbs up. Monica ji, agar aap chashma utarenge, to you will be much, it much be easy. Yes, wonderful. Just do that. Okay, great. Yes, Suraj, I got your message. Thanks, Suraj. Waiting for the interactive part so that we can speak to you as well. If you are ready for activity number 2, before we move on to activity number 2, the pen and the paper that you used for activity number 1, yes, thank you, Monica. The pen and the paper that you used for activity number 1, please keep it next to you in a place where you will be able to retrieve it later. be very mindful of whatever you do today. It's quite possible that you're sitting in a room where the fan must be on, or there must be an air condition, or there must be a draft of wind. So we don't want it flying away. Make sure that you, Manisha ji, would you like to go and get a mask, perhaps a COVID mask? That might just help you, because then the blindfold will stay in place. Or if you have a dupatta that you can use, or just as long as your eyes are shut. Great. So let's move on to the next activity. I hope all of you have kept your paper and your pen in a place where you can retrieve it. Ambuji, will you be able to get? Yes, wonderful. Thanks for that thumbs up. Great to hear that. Okay, take the next sheet of paper in your hand. The first activity that we did was a drawing activity, an art activity. The next activity that we're going to do is a craft activity. So for the craft activity, I'm going to give you a very, very simple task. When we were very young in school, we had all learned how to make a paper boat. Yaad hai aap logon ko how to make a paper boat, or have you forgotten? So if you have forgotten how to make a paper boat, okay, Ambuj says he remembers. If you remember how to make a paper boat, go ahead and try without being able to see the paper. But if you don't remember how to make a paper boat, very simple alternative, just make a paper rocket. When we were in school, Professor Nino, we used to make these rockets and planes and send them to the blackboard, flying to the blackboard. So I'm going to try to make all of you attempt to make a paper plane or a paper rocket or a paper boat. If you don't remember either of these, the simplest thing you can do is try to fold your paper into a perfect square. The smallest possible perfect square. When I say perfect square, please remember that all the sides of the square have to be equal. So you can either fold your paper into a perfect square, and once you finish doing this, please show me what you've done, so that we can move on to the next task. You have three options: either make a paper boat, or make a paper plane or a paper rocket. There it is, Ambuj Sharma, wonderful, first off the blocks with a lovely paper boat. Thank you, sir. Very nice to see your boat. क्या लगता है आपको? If we let it down somewhere in the water, will it sink or will it float? Thumbs up होगा या thumbs down होगा, Ambuj ji? क्या लग रहा है आपको? Thumbs up.
Sir, what about the participants who are already visually impaired persons?
Yes. So I have a suggestion for you, Shivraj ji, the participants who are already visually impaired. The first part of this session is an immersion activity into visual impairment. The moment,
sir, let us have an introductory session, sir. Who are the participants and all, where, from where, which part of India, like that, that makes interesting one.
I will have to ask Professor Saikat to do that, because he's the organizer.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah. So just wait, sir. Wait for a few minutes, and then we will.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you. Sorry for the interruption.
Yeah, no worries. Okay. So if you finish making the paper boat, yes, Abhay Pratap Singh, I can see you have made a wonderful paper boat as well. Let's move on to one more activity, and the third activity that I'd like to ask you to do is to take your पर्स और
आई एम सॉरी सर, मैं भी कुछ कहना चाह रही थी एक मिनट के लिए कि ये सब एक्टिविटीज जो आप बता रहे हैं ये हम लोग भी कर सकते हैं, लेकिन हम भी टोटली ब्लाइंड हैं.
हाँ, मैं समझता हूँ. सो
Sir, it is not possible from, you are asking to draw a heart picture like that. How can we cannot.
Sir, if you will just allow me to complete for about 15 minutes what I'm trying to say, and then we are going to get into a discussion. Right now, what we are doing is, in this first 15 minutes, we are just trying to get people without visual impairment to give them an idea about the world of the visually impaired. That is our objective. So if you can just bear with us for about 15 minutes, if you don't mind.
Okay, sir.
Okay, Manju ji, jara 15 minutes ke liye aap just bear with us, and then we will get into a discussion after this. So if you can, let's move on to the third activity today. And the third activity is, if you can take your wallets and pull out a currency note from your wallet, or a coin, any currency note or any coin from your wallets, and try and identify आपके हाथ में जो note और जो coin है, what is this note, what is this coin? Is it a 10 rupee note? Is it a 5 rupee note? Is it a 100 rupee note? Is it a 50 rupee note? Do not open your blindfolds right now. Just by feeling it, just by touching it, try to figure out what is the note. Keep the note next to you, somewhere where you can retrieve it, just like you have kept the other sheets of paper. If necessary, if you feel like, keep some weight on top of it as well. And let's move to one more activity. If you have identified the note, let's move on to one more activity. This one is the one with the bottle of water and the glass of water. So please take the bottle of water and the glass. Yes, wonderful. Don't open the bottle right now. May I just tell you what to do? There are 4 steps that I would like you to do. The first step is to open the bottle. The second step is to pour yourself a regular glass of water, a full glass of water. Just because you cannot see it, you have been blindfolded today and you cannot see it, it doesn't mean that you will not feel thirsty on a hot day. So I would request you to pour yourself a full glass of water, a regular glass of water. You will have to decide when your bottle of water has, your glass is full, and the moment you realize that it is full, at that point, stop pouring, shut the bottle and drink the water. Yes. I can see a lot of people doing this. We'll just wait for everybody to finish doing it. That's wonderful. And if you have finished doing this activity, kindly keep the bottle of water and the glass of water as far away from you as possible, because you will not need it right now. In case any of the water spills onto your desktop or your laptop or your phone, then you'll have a problem later. So keep the bottle of water as far away from you as possible. Okay. Are we ready for the next activity? Ambuji, Professor Ninu, yes, thumbs up. Wonderful. All right. So I'd just like all of you who have taken part in these activities today to spend 2-3 minutes in very quiet and respectful reflection. Think of every single thing that you did from the time we opened this session, where I asked you to wear a blindfold, where I asked you to do all these activities. We started by some drawing activity. From the drawing, we went on to some craft activity. From the craft, we went on to trying to recognize currency. After trying to recognize currency, we tried to pour ourselves some water without dropping it, without spilling it, and drinking that water. And I wanted you to just reflect, Chintan karenge, what was going on in your mind when you were doing all of these activities? Was there a sense of anxiety? Was there a sense of stress or fear or panic because you could not see what you were doing? Or was there a sense of calm and peace and focus and concentration? What was going on in your mind? Just reflect on all of this. Also reflect on when you were doing all these activities. Was there anything that was very easy for you to do? Why was it easy? Was there something which was quite difficult for you to do? And why was it difficult? Reflect also on whether you were able to do these activities easily, or whether you were able to do it with a sense of difficulty. And be honest, when you were doing these activities, were you so busy doing all of these activities that you had no time to think about anything else? You were just processing my instructions one by one? Or did you also have some time to think? And did you imagine, or were you able to imagine, what must be the life of a person with disability like? Somebody with blindness. What kind of a life must he or she be leading? Would it be extremely difficult? Would it be something that they would get used to over time? Would it be something that where they would not be able to do a lot of the activities in the manner that you are doing it? What kind of life must they be leading? This is what I just like you to reflect on. So I'll give you a minute to reflect on these activities. As you slowly finish your reflection, You can very gently take off your blindfold, but do not keep your eyes open till I tell you to do so. Take your blindfold off very slowly. Rub your palms if you would like, pass on some warmth from your palms to your eyes. Open your eyes through the cracks of your fingers. Let some light filter through. Be very gentle. And when you are completely ready, you can open your eyes. Excellent. I can see that many of you have opened your eyes. Many of you are ready. And I'd like to open this little bit of activity that we did for reflection and for interaction. Ambudji, aapka experience kaisa raha? When you were doing these activities, if you don't mind unmuting, was there a sense of anxiety and stress, or was there a sense of calm, peace? Kaisa lag raha tha? You will have to unmute, sir. We'll just see whether we can help you to unmute. If any of the organizers, Dr. Rupali Sharma, if there's somebody who can help.
We can do it.
Yes, can you hear me?
Mr. Warrior, we can do it on our own.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Hi, very good afternoon to everybody. Let me share something with you. My name is Dr. Ambud Sharma. I work for Central University of Allahabad. It's an institute called Govind Vallabh Pant Social Science Institute. I was born without disability, and at the age of 20, I had an accident where I broke my spine. And after that, I faced this different dimension of disability. I'm a person with orthopedic disability. So I have seen the both sides of life. I was a badminton and swimming champion. At the age of 20, I encountered this disability. So when you were giving this activity, then I realized at very young age, I realized that how my life would be without eyes. So I used to practice that writing something with closed eyes, or putting the water in the glass, because I have spent 5 years on wheelchair. I was paralyzed. Now I'm fine, but I have weakness in my legs, and I have issues. I wear brace. But I have experienced that, and I'm keeping myself ready for that also, that one day I might lose my eyes or lose something else also. So I'm preparing for that. For this activity, it really helped me, and that's why I joined this. And I have completed my PhD also, and I'm writing a lot of articles on disability, on inclusion of people with disabilities in our society. Not integration. I don't believe in integration. I believe inclusion, the concept. And this workshop will really help me also to meet people here, because I was abroad for 10 years. I did my PhD from abroad, and I'm looking to collaborate with people in India. So this workshop will give me ample opportunity, give me a platform where I can raise my concerns also, because I told you that I've been for 20 years. I was a person with good health and everything. Now everything has been taken, but I have not lost my motivation. I'm very inspired. I have a lot of motivation in me. I write a lot, and I talk about that. So that's me.
Yeah, thank you. It was really nice listening to you. Before we continue, actually, I must apologize to our colleagues who have joined us, those with visual impairment. I should have mentioned right in the beginning that this first part of the workshop was an immersion activity where we just wanted to give those without visual impairment an opportunity to understand and to try and get into the world of those people who cannot see, and to just do some very, very basic tasks and reflect on those tasks. So in the spirit of what Ambudji just said, Professor Ninu, how was your experience today? Were you very anxious? Were you able to do the activities?
I wasn't anxious. I will not cheat at all. I don't cheat. I knew that it was a 2,000 rupee note because I had kept it in the morning in my wallet. And I knew it was a 5 rupee coin which was lying on the table. So that I will not cheat on, absolutely. I think I made a good enough airplane. First, I made a boat. And that also I could feel was all right. I just wanted to feel how making an airplane or making a boat would feel like. And so first I made the boat and I was satisfied with it. And then I made the airplane. The heart is all right. I mean, you saw the heart, right, but yes. my pen gave away. and the pouring of glass. I want to share something. When I was pouring my glass, I'm right here on my laptop. I was pouring my glass, so I kept my finger here.
Right.
Here at the edge of the glass, because I'm working right next to my laptop. Kept my finger here to see that when I am pouring the water, it touches the finger and I stop pouring. That was my marker for the water. Very interesting. No, I was not anxious. I was thinking that, you know, there's a life out there, and we see these people. They move around us, they move with us, they move within us, but we see and we don't see, if you understand what I'm trying to say. We give them importance. I would help somebody cross the road, I would help somebody walk a few steps, whatever, little bit, and that's the only little bit that I end up doing. But life becomes difficult for visually impaired people, one. But I've had people, colleagues, friends. I had a colleague. She said that mere liye, can I switch over to Hindi? I mean, I'm using.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yes, Hindi mein bataiye.
She said कि मैं बिंदी जब लाई, she's visually impaired. She said मेरे को, and I said कि बिंदी लगाना बहुत मुश्किल है. She said नहीं मुश्किल है. जब मैं बिंदी लगाती हूँ तो I keep these two fingers here and the center वाली finger right in the center of my forehead, and I get a perfectly goal bindi. So this is how they learn to adapt. I'm very appreciative, and I really enjoyed the activity. I'm quite happy that I did the activity. Could have gone on and done some more. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you
Professor
so much.
Nino.
Thank you so much.
You know, and you mentioned about people living around us, people with disabilities living around us, and sometimes us noticing it to the extent that we help people with disabilities maybe to cross the road. How much the question really to ask, and I'm not asking any of you to answer this question on a public platform, but to ask, you know, individually to your own selves, how much do we include persons with disabilities in our daily lives, in our daily activities? This is something that perhaps we should give a little thought to, pay a little attention to. And, you know, you mentioned very well, yes, Professor Nino.
We don't.
Yeah, some do, some of us do.
Some of us do, but most of us don't. I mean, I'm not here to, you know, sing my own praises, try and do as much.
That's why I said, you know, let's just have an individual conversation with our own selves to figure out what is the extent to which we include persons with disabilities. For example, we have, you know, on this very call, we have Shivraj sir, we have Ganesh, who has joined us today. We also have Manju Patel, who had put on her you know, audio on and spoken to us when we were using these activities. And I'm going to invite all these people to join and to share their experiences with all of us. Before we actually start, one of the people I had invited to join me as a co-resource person today is Ganesh, and I'm just going to say hi to Ganesh. Ganesh, can you just unmute and say hi to everybody else?
Yes, hello everyone.
Hi Ganesh, hello. Thank you very much for joining us. Ganesh and I have joined you from Mumbai today. And let me tell you a very little, give you a small description about Ganesh and then hand over to him. And then we'll also hear from Shivraj sir. We'll also hear from
Hello, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
I feel very privileged and proud to join this session. And I'm extremely happy to be a part of this FDP program. First of all, I should be thankful for all the organizers. And just now, sir has conducted 2-3 activities. It shows his sensitivity towards the class of disabilities, persons with disabilities. All these activities were very sensitive. Unless and until we go to the state of that class, we cannot understand the difficulty of that particular situation. Unless and until you close your eyes, you cannot understand the difficulty, the life, the pleasure, the joy, and pains and strains of visually impaired persons.
I loved what Shivraj sir said. You know, he didn't say only the pain. He spoke about the joys. He spoke
Yeah.
about the pleasures. He spoke about everything, right? So let's move on, sir. We will have an interaction with everybody. But I just
Okay.
want to very briefly introduce Ganesh to all of you because I had invited him as a co-resource person today. Ganesh was Professor. You know, Ganesh was a person who was not born with visual impairment. He was born with complete sight. In a very tiny village in Maharashtra, somewhere near Pune, somewhere near Satara. At the age of 9, something happened to him due to which he lost his sight. This did not happen overnight. It took some time for him to lose his sight, but over time, he realized that he was losing his sight and one day he could not see anything at all. I'm going to invite Ganesh to unmute and share a little bit about what happened to him. See, when we speak about visual impairment, we speak about different people with different conditions. There might be people on this very call who were born without being able to see anything. Then you have people like Ganesh who lost their sight at a very, very young age, adapted to that, moved on in life. You also have people who probably, you know, some people who lose their sight at the age of in the mid 40s, sometimes in their 50s, and find it a little more difficult perhaps than Ganesh to adjust. So Ganesh, welcome to this interaction. Can you tell us a little bit about that early stage of your life?
Yes, so first of all, thank you very much, sir. And thank you very much, Someshwar, sir, for inviting me here today. So, okay, before I start, I have a cold since morning, so you all have to bear with my voice. So, okay, so basically, I would like to start my story with that life-changing event, with that incident because of which I became visually impaired. So, as sir mentioned, it did not happen overnight. You know, when I was child, I was staying with my parents in my village, and currently I'm staying with my sister's family in Mumbai. So you will automatically get to know my journey from my village to Mumbai. यार बंदा यहाँ पैदा हो गया और मुंबई तक कैसे पहुंचा? Really interesting story though. So as I mentioned, I was staying with my parents when I was child, and I love swimming. And as you all know, in villages there are no swimming pools, right? So if you have to swim, you have to go to some river or you have to go to some well, correct? So एक दिन मैं भी ऐसे कुएं में गया तैरने के लिए, and my parents, they were constantly telling me that don't swim for a long period of time, but naughty boy, shararati bacha, I didn't listen to them. And one day I swam for, let's say, 3 to 4 hours continuously. Now, after swimming, I was not able to see properly. I mean, I could see everyone as a moving object, and unfortunately, we were not aware what is the scientific term for it, right? So then we went to doctors, and doctor told us it happened because of water infection. Now, at that time, I could see a little bit. I did not lose my sight overnight, but I realized that I'm losing my sight gradually. So with the help of that little vision, somehow I completed my primary education in my village itself. So my school allowed my sister to be my writer. And I'm sure you all know what is the meaning of writer, scribe, right? So my sister, she used to read out all the questions for me, and then I used to tell her all the answers to her. And फिर मैं ट्यूबलाइट के नीचे खड़ा रह के टेक्स्ट बुक आंखों से एकदम नजदीक पकड़ के पढ़ता था, नोटबुक पे लिखता था. So that's how somehow I completed my primary education in my village itself. But now kahani mein twist, because there were no further education in my village, right? So for high school, I had to move out to some cities. Now here, my parents started getting worried because I'm a visually impaired person. When I was studying in my village, it was quite easy for me to navigate around since it was a familiar place for me. But now when I will move out to some cities, how I will deal with each and everything, how people will behave with me, how I will travel alone. So there were a lot of questions, and unfortunately, we had no answers to it. Fortunately, at that time, my elder sister got married, and my sister and my brother-in-law, they brought me in Mumbai in 2009 for further education. Now, the moment we came here in Mumbai, the first smart thing which we did was we took admission in Happy Home and School for the Blind. So it's a school for blind boys. It's at Worli, just next to Nehru Planetarium. It's in part of South Bombay. So if you get a chance to come to Mumbai and South Bombay visit karne ka mauka mila, then you should definitely visit this place. It's a really beautiful place. There are some institutions for blind girls, and there are many institutions today which we call the inclusive institutions, right? So, what is the meaning of inclusive institutions? So basically, these are the regular institutions like St. Xavier's College, like Hirodimal College, but they also, welcome disabled students on their campus, and they try to provide them equal educational access. Whatever quality education you people are getting, we also deserve the same kind of education, right? Just because we are visually impaired, nobody can keep us away from getting quality education. So the meaning of inclusive institution in one line is the place where disabled and non-disabled students studies together, right? So I consider myself very lucky to be part of St. Xavier's College for 5 years. It's a very inclusive setup. And, there is one department called XRCVC. We are here on behalf of XRCVC today, that is Xavier's Research Center for the Visually Challenged. And it plays an important role in making institutions more inclusive. So we will talk about it more as we move ahead in this session. But coming back to my school. So when I joined Happy Home, my school, the initial period in my school was really, really tough for me because the other students from Mumbai, they used to tease me a lot. Now, as you all know, हम किसी नए स्कूल में जाते हैं तो उधर के बच्चों का थोड़ा दादागिरी चलता है, like who are you, right? हम यहाँ के हैं. So they used to tease me a lot on the basis of my language, my behavior. बहुत चिढ़ाते थे, कहते थे गांव से आया है, अनपढ़ है, इसकी भाषा देखो कितनी अशुद्ध है. He don't know how to behave. And I was on the verge of giving up. But that time, my science teacher encouraged me a lot, and she said, "You just concentrate on your studies and don't worry about anything else." And it struck me so hard. Because of that, I guess I worked so hard. 2009 was my first year in Happy Home, and still I was a rank holder. So as my teacher said, everything happened automatically. दूसरे students को पता चला कि थोड़ा scholar है तो सब line पे आ गए. I got so many new friends. From there onwards, I started getting my confidence. From there, I started getting my confidence back. So, एक discipline की जो जरूरत होती है life में, I got that discipline from my school itself because it was a boarding school. So, सुबह 6 बजे उठना, फिर खुद का बेड खुद रेडी करना, टाइम पे नहाना, ब्रेकफास्ट को जाना, फिर खुद के कपड़े खुद प्रेस करना. Then 8 o'clock breakfast, then 8:30 to 10 o'clock private studies, and 10 to 5 whole day school. 5 o'clock cricket on the terrace. 6 o'clock again private studies, 7 o'clock dinner, and by 10:30 you have to go to your bed. So set timetable. So I got that discipline. So life में जो independentness आया, जो चीजें independently करने की आदत लगी, वो मेरे स्कूल से ही लगी. I started participating in all the extracurricular activities, sports, technology, elocution competition, and as I mentioned, because of that, I started getting my confidence back. So from so I spent enriching 5 to 6 years in my school. So it was really a wonderful journey altogether throughout my school life. So my school laid the foundation for me to move ahead in my life. So yeah.
Thanks, Ganesh. Thanks for giving us that brief introduction into your early career, your early life. We'll ask Shivraj sir and we'll ask the others as well, some of the others to share their experiences. But before that, I have a question for all of you who have joined us today. I'm going to ask this question to all of you. Manisha, Neenuji.
Sir, I'm Dr. Shivraj Shastri.
Yes, sir.
From Gulbarga, sir, Karnataka state.
Yes.
I teach Kannada literature in a first grade college, Sharan Basaveshwara College of Arts.
Right.
I have published 6 books. Mainly, I'm a poet. My poetry deals with the happiness, pleasure, and treasure, whatever status of visually impairment. I'm interested to bring out all the experiences I want to share through literature.
So do you have a link where we can read your poetry, sir? Do we have a link, Dr. Shastri?
Oh, in the next session, I'll read. Presently, I don't have with me Braille script.
Okay.
I'll definitely.
Maybe next session or in between somewhere, since you're going to have.
In the next session, definitely I'll read.
Yeah,
I lost my both of eyes when I was 5 years old due to ill treatment of the shortage of medicine and all, and illiteracy of my parents and all. I got educated in primary education in Gulbarga Blind Boys School and high school in Mysore, and I got a degree, BA degree in Bangalore, Jayanagara National College, and I got a master's degree from the University of Bangalore, and I did my MPhil and PhD degree from Gulbarga University, Gulbarga, and it is happy to share with you that I have been conferred a DLIT degree from Sharanabaswa University. I have received a DLIT degree, sir. So this is my brief introduction.
Yes.
I have got 17 years of teaching experience for the students.
Thank you, sir. It was a joy to hear about your journey. We'll hear more from you as well as from the other participants. But before we move on, I have a question for all those of you today who took part in these activities. Professor Ninu Kumar was there, Kiran Johnson was there, many of you, Ambut Sharma, Monica Sawant, all Chetan, all of you. I have a very simple question. Not a single person today gave up. Not a single person said, I cannot do this because I cannot see. I would like to hear from you. Why is it that nobody gave up? Monica ji, would you like to give me your idea about why nobody gave up?
Actually, when the first activity which was started by you, that time I was a little bit confused as such as to I did not have the material with me. Then I tried to collect the material, but then I was able to, I participated only in 2 activities. One was the, you said no, that you have to make a boat out of it, out of the paper. That I tried, and I tried the first one, that is making of the heart. But actually I was little bit, I had that anxiety like of closing my eyes, because I'm little bit afraid if it is during the night also, I keep switch on the light, dim light, and I sleep. I can't sleep where, yeah, I can't sleep in andhera, like, and so I have to switch on the dim light at least. So I was really anxious about doing the rest of the 2. I was not able to do. Then I gave up actually. Hello.
But you're concentrating on what you gave up on, concentrating on what you did actually without giving up. And I'm going to ask the same question to say Kiran Johnson. Kiran, did you manage to do these activities? Did you? And if you did, why did you not give up? Let's see if yes.
Sorry, I couldn't actually do any of the activities that was actually given. Because right now I am in office. I'm assistant professor and I'm in office. I actually couldn't do any of the things.
That's
I'm
all right.
sorry, sir.
That's all right. But we have Manisha Roy who's put her hand
But
up. We
sir,
have
actually, I mean, in my childhood and all, I have actually like tried sometimes with my blind by closing my eyes to try to do some of the, not what you have said, something like opening the door or closing the door or something like that.
Yeah, some activities without
Yes.
being able to see, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, Manisha Roy wanted to say something. Yes.
Hello,
Yes, ma'am.
good afternoon, everyone. Am I visible?
Yes, we
because
can hear you. We
actually
can see you as well. We can see you as well.
Hi. So first of all, I'm really happy and very glad to be here. And I found this activity to be extremely immersive. Some of the activities I could do, some of them I couldn't do so successfully. The heart was easy to make. I'm Libran, I'm a romantic, so I know how to make a heart. So even with the blindfold, I made a almost perfect heart. I could not connect the ends, but the heart is almost perfect. The other activity, which is plain, I made that, because E is easy and I could do it almost perfectly. The one activity which I couldn't do was recognizing the note. I thought this was a 10 rupee note, but it turned out to be a 20 rupee note.
All right.
But All the other activities, gingerly, a little hesitantly, I could perform. But the reason I feel that I wanted to be able to participate in all the activities is because I think as a human being, we have, we want to learn, we want to experience things. And, we also have inside of us a spirit that says, never say die. So we want to explore, we want to find out whether we want to challenge ourselves. So I think that was my reason to, first of all, learn firsthand what it feels to not be able to see and just experience things and do them. So it was, for me also, for myself, I wanted to do it. And I also wanted to sensitize myself to how it feels. It's easy enough to have people, I have children, who are students who are visually impaired. I have students who are, challenged in other ways. But to be able to experience a little bit of it, that was also an endeavor.
You raised a very nice point. You said you did this out of curiosity. You did not give up out of curiosity, right? You wanted to experience what it was firsthand.
Yes, I did.
Neenu Kumar, what was the reason why you did not give up?
My reason primarily, I teach here in Delhi at Aditi Mahavidyalaya is my college. It's an all-girls college. It was opened for the rural population to cater to the rural girls. We're not rural anymore. I am a professor in English. My primary reason of wanting to do these activities was to be able to understand what a visually impaired person goes through day in, day out. As I said, a colleague of mine, she said that bindi lagana bahut easy hai. And bahut sare kaam which we think are very difficult for them are very easy for them. But of course, as what Vanisha also said, I will not give up because I want to understand what the person feels, although these were very basic activities. And I also want to get into their shoes to realize that everyday life might be very easy for you people, but we have to devise ways and means wherein, like I said, when I wanted to pour water in the glass, I said I kept my finger here.
Your own way. You have to find your own way.
Yes,
exactly.
Yes. You have to devise your own methods to be able to do those, perform those day-to-day activities, which are, we take them for granted. I would use those words.
Taking from what you just said, I would like to put the same question to somebody with visual impairment. So I'm going to ask Ganesh. Ganesh, you saw all of us doing these activities. Some of us struggled with some of them, but nobody gave up. Those who started to complete these activities, as Professor Neenu said, she put her finger into the glass just to make sure that the water was not going to overflow. So Ganesh, I would like to hear your perspective. Why is it that people did not give up? Kya reason hai?
First of all, I don't have smart answers like these people, but since I'm navigating this world without being able to see like from 18 years, so I have a little different perspective. So feel free to disagree with me if you have a different opinion. So I feel there is a bigger reason than this because of which nobody gave up. And that reason is our body. Human body, it's such a wonderful machine. It will never give up. अगर कभी कुछ give up करता है तो I think वो शायद अपना मन हो सकता है, but our body will never give up. So, okay, I will give you two examples so you will get an idea what I'm trying to say. So, if you all can see me, if I tell you all, hold your nose like this and hold your breath, right? So, for how much time you will be able to hold it? Like for 40 seconds, max to max 45 seconds, correct? At 46 seconds, what will happen? Your mouth will automatically open and you will take great gulp of air and you'll be like, finally you got the oxygen, otherwise, aaj kaam hone wala tha, correct? So the question here is, do we really need to train our mouth? Bhai, hame naak se oxygen nahi mil raha, you have to open, khul ja. Not at all. Our body realizes that need and it always look for an alternate option. Similarly, one more example I have for which I would like to ask a question. So who would like to answer? Very simple question I'm going to ask.
I think you can ask that question to Professor Neenu Kumar.
Okay. So, ma'am, can you just unmute for a few seconds?
Ji, I am unmute.
Yes. So, ma'am, are you right-handed or left-handed?
I am ambidextrous actually, Ganesh. मैं दोनों हाथ यूज करती हूँ. मैं सिर्फ लिखती राइट हैंड से हूँ. मैं लेफ्ट हैंड से बाकी सारे काम करती हूँ. I am ambidextrous.
Exactly, ma'am. So, आपने जो आंसर दिया उसमें ही सारा कुछ है. You use your both the hands, right? Still, let's assume कि you are right-handed. Okay, ma'am. You are just right-handed, and while walking on the road, आप गिर गए. And you fractured your right hand, let's say from elbow to fingertips very badly, right? So, ma'am, after that, will you stop using WhatsApp?
मैं ना बड़ी गणेश, मैं बहुत अलग किस्म का इंसान हूँ. मैं इतना ज्यादा व्हाट्सएप करती ही नहीं हूँ.
Okay, so
I am not a very.
He meant is, will you stop using your phone? Will you stop using your laptop just because one hand has?
No, I use my laptop every day for my academic activities. I will use the phone only for calling and listening. WhatsApp does not matter to me, but laptop of course I cannot. But मेरा तो ये है ना कि हाँ, if I am right-handed, मेरे लिए left hand use करना गणेश बहुत मुश्किल हो जाएगा. If I am only right-handed, left hand से काम करने में जो मैं right hand से काम से 10 मिनट में कर पाती हूँ, तो वो left hand से शायद 20 मिनट में करूँगी या 25
मिनट. But that is only for at the initial stage, correct, ma'am? But once you get habitual to it, then आप easily कर सकते हो left hand.
Then I would, yes, of course, yes, of course.
So yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So that's what I was trying to explain. If we fractured our right hand, okay, from elbow to fingertips, we have a left hand. Yeah, if I'm a right-handed and if I fractured my right hand from elbow to fingertips, I can't stay hungry for 2 to 3 months. Correct? I have to eat with my left hand. Yes, initially, as ma'am said, it will be difficult for me, but eventually I'll get used to it. So that is the mantra. We use the term that is sensory substitution. Correct? So I will explain you in brief what is sensory substitution, and I will give you one mantra also to remember this term for the rest of your life. Okay, so what is sensory substitution? Sensory means senses and substitution means replacement. So it's very simple. If you don't have your one sense with you, doesn't matter. You will replace that sense with your other 4 senses and you will perform all the activities. You know, ma'am, what is the best example of it? Few minutes back, sir snatched away your sense of sight. Still nobody gave up. Why? Because you all were using your sense.
Are you able to hear, Ganesh?
No, the voice is gone, Mr. Warrior.
Yes. I think that there's some connection problem where he's
technological glitch.
He'll come back. But what Ganesh was just saying is that typically what everybody was using is what is called sensory substitution, which Shivraj sir uses, which Ganesh uses with people with visual impairment here on this call. Suraj Agarwal mentioned that he has a visual impairment. Dr. Gunjan mentioned that she has a sensory substitution is nothing but using your other senses in order to replace a sense that has stopped working. You'll just find other ways. Ganesh, are you back? Can you unmute and we'll just see whether we can listen to you as well.
Can I just ask one quick question, Mr. Warrior?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
एक चीज जो मेरे दिमाग में आ रही है that none of us gave up. वो ये भी तो है ना कि we are part of this FTP and हमें ये activities perform करनी है. हम शायद उसके लिए भी तो we were trying to do that. Although I was not doing it, but maybe that is also a thought which was there in the mind of many.
No doubt about that.
Just
the fact
sharing.
is, let us assume that you are not here in this particular activity and in this particular Zoom call. Suppose you had, as Ganesh said, fractured your right hand and it was in a plaster. Would it stop you from doing some of the activities that you were doing regularly? You'd just find other ways to do it. You'd find, you'd use your other senses to do the same. I'd like to, invite Shivraj sir, if he can just unmute and tell us about how he uses some of his other senses. Dr. Shivraj Shastri. Ganesh, are you back?
Yes.
Okay, continue.
So yeah, that's what I was trying to say. We use our other four senses, right? And this is the reason because of which nobody gave up. So as I said that I will give you one simple mantra to remember this term for rest of your life. Because when I heard this term for the first time, मुझे थोड़ी सी difficulty हुई to understand this term and to remember also. For then what I did, I found one Hindi word for it without changing its meaning. So I'm going to tell that word to you all. So आपको भी sensory substitution का मतलब क्या है दिमाग में सेट हो जाएगा. So that Hindi word is जुगाड़. I know the moment I said जुगाड़, you must have thought, is he mad? What he's talking about? But yes, I'm talking about जुगाड़. Most of the time, we look at जुगाड़ in a negative sense. Correct? But किसने बोला यार जुगाड़ हमेशा negative sense में होना चाहिए? It can be in a positive sense also. There is one lovely phrase in Hindi, in fact. अगर घी सीधी उंगली से नहीं निकलता है, then what do you have to do? उंगली को टेढ़ी करना पड़ता है, correct? The biggest example of sensory substitution और जुगाड़ का ये है कि during the pandemic हम college नहीं जा पाए, हम सीखने नहीं जा पाए, आप सिखाने नहीं जा पाए, but somehow virtual lectures लेकर हमने adjust किया, correct? So ये जुगाड़ी तो है और क्या है? So I feel not only me, we all are jugadus here, and this is the biggest reason because of which nobody gave up.
Right, Ganesh, can you just explain to us, for the benefit of those of us who are doing these activities, where we would have used our other senses today?
Yeah, so you know, when you all were performing those activities, while performing that craft activity, you all were touching that paper so carefully. कौन सा sense हुआ? Sense of touch, correct? In the beginning, किसी मैम ने mention किया कि जो water pouring का activity था, she was just dipping her finger into the glass and checking whether glass is full or no. Again, sense of touch use किया. जब पानी पी रहे थे आप, आपने sense of taste भी आपने mouth में feel किया रहेगा आपके mouth में, correct? You all were listening to Krishna sir's instructions very carefully. कौन सा sense use किया? Sense of hearing. So apart, you know, जो sense of sight छोड़ के जो बाकी के चार senses है, you all were using those four senses very actively, and इसी को बोलते हैं हम sensory substitution.
Great, thanks Ganesh for that, for enlightening us and illuminating this conversation in such a simple manner. Another question I would like to ask you, Ganesh, is do you generally receive help when you are in a public space? I'm sure if you ask this question to different people, you will get different answers, but let's just start with Ganesh, and then maybe we can go on to Zarana, maybe we can go on to somebody else also who would like to share their experiences. When you are in a public space, do you receive help? क्या experience है आपका?
Yeah, 100%. Whenever I go out, people come forward and they help me. But I would like to mention over here, there are 2 to 3 different categories of people who help us. So the first category that, you know, they will ignore us completely, and I have no issues with it because सबका अपना personal choice होता है. The second category is, you know, they will come and they will help us in a very nice manner. And the third and most dangerous category, that they will assume first and then they will help. So in order to explain this, what I mean by assuming and then helping, I would like to share one funny incident that happened with me when I was in St. Xavier's College. So one day I was standing at the Xavier's gate on the footpath, and there is a road just next to Xavier. So I was standing at the gate and I was waiting for one of my friend. I was holding my white cane, my stick in my hand, and I was waiting for her. So then अचानक से signal, like जैसे signal लगा, out of nowhere, one man ran towards me. He held my collar, and within a minute we were on the other side of the road. And वहां पहुंचने के बाद with full swag he was saying, "लो भैया पहुंच गए." And I was shocked. I asked him, "कहाँ पहुंच गए?" He said, "अरे, you wanted to cross the road ना, लो मैंने करवा दिया." Then I asked him, "Did I ask you for help?" And he said, "No, but you were standing there, so I thought you might need my help." So in this case, it means, you know, I don't even have the liberty to wait for my girlfriend. Yeah, if I'm waiting for her, somebody will come, hold my collar, and मुझे दूसरी रास्ते पे छोड़ देंगे. Correct? So See, I'm not blaming anyone here. It happens because of lack of awareness. So, what is the best way to help any disabled person? If you see any disabled person around and you really want to help them out, you should go and ask them two really simple questions. The first question, do you need help? Okay. If they say yes, then ask them the second question, how can I help you? Because always remember, they are going to tell you the best way in which they want your help. And if they are saying no for help, then please don't do it forcefully. Otherwise, it will be frustrating for you and for them as well. So it's very simple. Do not assume anything. Just go and ask these two simple questions. Things will become so easy for everyone.
Yes, Professor Ninu has a question.
I am sorry. I seem to be. What Ganesh said, from it's a takeaway from what Ganesh said, that we who have all our five senses working, it's very presumptuous of us कि we think that the other person needs help. One, two, it also gives us a kind of superiority over the other person who is visually challenged, that here we are, that we can see and this person cannot see. And three, more importantly, हमें लगता है, we feel that yes, we are in a position, we are in a situation where we can kind of dole out this help, which I totally agree with what Ganesh is saying, कि पहले पूछो help चाहिए या नहीं चाहिए, और चाहिए तो किस तरह की चाहिए. I will, जैसे गणेश एग्जांपल दे रहा है,
किस तरह की help चाहिए, that is more important. So किस तरह की, how can I help you? Because a person who needs help knows exactly. If
one very
if I
small
can request
one very small example and I will end. We had a program about disability sometime back in the college, and we called a person with visual disability. And as we were about to get down from the stage, so I asked him, Mr. So-and-so, can I help you get down the stage? So you know what he told me? He said, don't hold my hand. Don't hold my wrist. Keep my hand on your shoulder and walk. Simply let me know when there are steps and I would be able to walk. So this is the level of...
correct, yeah. So once you ask somebody, correct. Once you ask somebody, they are in a position to tell you exactly what is comfortable for them. I'm going to request Dr. Gunjan Kumari if she can unmute and share some of her experiences. Dr. Gunjan, can you unmute? Is it possible? Let's see whether it's... while we wait for Dr. Gunjan to unmute, I'm just going to throw it open to any of you, especially those of us on this call who do not have an experience of visual impairment or do not have an experience of disability. There are a lot of people here with experience, lived experience of disability. But if you have any question, Professor Ninu, for example, anybody else, Monica ji, to ask our friends and colleagues who have joined us about disability, their experiences with disability, here is your opportunity to do that. Anybody would like to ask a question?
My question to Ganesh,
yes,
and
Ninuji, 1 second. Ninuji, 1 second. Before you ask, I will start by asking the first question and then you can ask the question also. So, Ganesh, mera sawal simple sa sawal hai. For people like me, people like Professor Ninu, people like Kiran, beauty is a very visual concept. हम कुछ गुलाब का फूल को देखते हैं, बड़ा सुंदर लगता है, बगीचे में जाते हैं, और we go to a seashore if I'm in Mumbai and I see the waves and the sun setting. It's very beautiful for me, and for me beauty is a very visual concept, just like it is for many of us on this call. आपके लिए beauty का concept आप कैसे describe करेंगे?
The moment you said seashores, sun setting and waves, एक बहुत beautiful incident याद आया when I was in Xavier's. So one day after college, we all friends, we were sitting at Marine Drive, and Marine Drive is the really beautiful place in Mumbai. Darya kinare hai, seashore hota hai, sab hota hai. So in the evening around 6:15ish, we all friends, we were sitting there at Marine Drive, and it was really wonderful atmosphere, and everybody was enjoying. I was also enjoying, and I was smiling. So one of my friend, he was constantly observing me, and suddenly asked me a question: "Why are you smiling?" Then I asked him the same question. You tell me, So I told him, because I'm enjoying and that's why I'm smiling. So he said, you cannot see anything, then how are you enjoying? Then फिर मैंने उसी को same question पूछा. You tell me, how are you enjoying? Then he gave me long description. He said, birds are flying, waves are coming. I can see the sunset in the water. It's an orange color जैसा हुआ है, and it's really beautiful. And he became quiet. Then I said, that's it. He said, yeah. Then I told him, boss, you people are so busy उस scenery को देखने में, where you people, forgot to feel the nature, yaar. And exactly that's what I was doing over there at Marine Drive. It was so soothing when those droplets were coming and kissing my cheeks, touching my body. I could literally feel the coolness in the air. I was able to, relate those bird chirpings and those waves with my imagination. So I was able to experience the beauty of nature. Yes, slightly in a different way, but I was able to experience it. And for me, process is not important. Sorry, end result is important. So, for example, if you have an 8 o'clock lecture tomorrow, so no matter how you travel to your college, you might take Ola, Uber, Metro lo, train lo, jo lena hai lo. Ultimate goal kya hai? 8 baje college pahunchna hai. Correct? So, for me also, how I'm experiencing the beauty of nature, that is not really important, but whether I'm able to experience it or no, that is really important for me. So it's very simple. If for you people, beauty is all about seeing, then for us, beauty is all about feeling, I guess.
That's a wonderful answer, Ganesh. Thanks for explaining it with such sensitivity. Anybody else would like to ask any question to our colleagues who have joined us today, whether it is to Ganesh, whether it is to Someshwar sir, anybody? Professor Ninu, you had a question.
I'm very apprehensive of using that word, but I will. To Ganesh and to Som is a good colleague, to Shivrajji, to all the people who've joined here who are visually impaired. As I said, apprehensive of using that word. It's all dark, it's all black. So how does a visually impaired person end up differentiating between, say, the red and the yellow and the green and the orange and the white or whatever?
So does color mean anything to you? Ganesh, does color mean anything?
Does color mean anything? I'm sorry, but...
Yeah, so 100%, colors, I feel colors are equally important for us. So there is one reason why colors are equally important for us, because we all are living in the same society, correct? So whatever rules and regulations are there for you people, even we have to follow the same rules and same regulations. So ma'am, just to give you one example, so let's say if I'm working in a company and my company has a particular dress code, right? So just because I'm visually impaired, my HR is not going to say that Ganesh, you are visually impaired, so don't follow the dress code. I'm not going to get that concession, correct? So just because we all are living in the same society, even the rules and regulations are same for us as well, and everybody loves to look presentable, correct? So that's why colors are equally important for us. Now, just to answer your question, how can we differentiate between colors, right? So there are two parts of this answer. One is in the case of born blind person, and one is in the case of late blind person, right? So for any born blind person, right, उन्होंने तो दुनिया देखी ही नहीं है, तो उन्हें colors कैसे पता चलेंगे? So ma'am, how will you explain a red color to any born blind person? Right? So seems like a very difficult task, correct? So, but what you can do is you can simply give them a different kinds of associations, like blood is red, tomato is red. Like if we eat something spicy, our lips will become reddish. और अगर हम ज्यादा धूप में गिरे घूमे, तो अगर आप आपका skin fair है तो आप थोड़ा red हो सकते हो. So these are different associations which you can give to any born blind person. So this is a kind of secondary information, man. So whatever secondary information you are providing to that born blind person, on the basis of that information, they will design their own red color, they will design their own yellow color. जरूरी नहीं है कि जो actual red color है वो red color और उनका जो imagination है वो absolutely match कर जाए, but to some extent definitely they will able to imagine the red color, correct? In case of late blind person, for example, I am a late blind person, so I have that advantage because I saw the world in the age of 9. So I know how red color looks, I know how yellow color looks, and I am pretty aware of all the color combinations. So this is the answer, ma'am. I hope I answered your question.
Thank you so much. Reminds me of the story, 7 blind men describing the elephant and how they describe the elephant.
Neenu ji, what I really appreciate in Ganesh's answer is he said that colors matter to me because they matter to you. And I live in a world where the rules are made by people with sight. If the rules of the world perhaps were made by people with visual impairment, we would have been living in a very different world, right? Where colors perhaps would not matter. But considering the fact that he and all the other colleagues who have joined us today, they have to negotiate this world where there are certain norms, certain conventions, certain rules. So they make it their business to know about color as much as they need to know in order to fit in with the rest of the society.
This is Jarna. I want to add to what Ganesh said.
Yes.
For most of the sighted people, blindness is synonymous with darkness. So one has to understand that it's kind of a spectrum. Some people have day-night perceptions. Some people they have low vision. Some people have, peripheral vision. They don't have central vision. So depending on the condition, people have, different kinds of blindness. So it's not synonymous with darkness. So as Ganesh said, some people do have memory of colors. They do remember what colors are, but only 2 or 3% of people have complete darkness right from the birth. So that is a myth that blind people don't understand colors.
Yes, that's a wonderful way to put it, ma'am. In fact, when we use the word dark, sometimes there's a negative connotation to it. And why do we need to give, right, Zarna? Why do we need to give a negative connotation to something that may not necessarily be negative in its own way? So, as Zarna said, blindness is not a condition. It's a spectrum. So you have people with low vision, you have people with total blindness, you have people with peripheral vision, you have people with color blindness, we have night blindness, day blindness. There are so many different conditions in this spectrum, and it would be very, very unjustified in putting all the people together under the same block and and putting the same topi on everybody and saying, oh, you are blind, this must be your requirement, this must be your condition. So thanks, Zarna, for that input. We have time for one last question. I'm unfortunately, though this conversation is really taking very, very interesting turns, we also have limitations on time, and Professor Someshwar and Dr. Saika that told me to complete the session by 4:30. So we have time for one more question if anybody would like to unmute and ask a question. Any question or any thoughts? Zarna, would you like to share some of your thoughts about living with blindness and how your experience, your lived experience has been? Anybody else would like to share?
Yes, we were talking about help. Do people extend help to the blind? And
Right.
As Ganesh said, 2 important questions one should ask: do you need help, and what kind of help you want? So what happens is when you are in a workplace and when you go to some offices, for instance, admin office, what happens is people first ask you to sit down. They feel that making a blind person sit would be the best kind of help from their side. But they don't really understand that blind people can stand on their feet. What they want is something else. So
Right.
this is very important that, you ask what kind of help they require and don't ask them to sit down.
Ma'am, I have seen in airports that you are first offered a wheelchair.
Yeah, first offer. So all kind of disability, they become one and the same.
Great. Thanks for your inputs. Thanks, everybody. We're coming to the end of what has been a very lively session. Thanks to all of you for having unmuted, asked your questions, and taken part in these activities. Before we wind up, I just have a small request. I'm going to put the link of a feedback form for all of you in the chat box. If you can just take 5 minutes and quickly fill up the feedback, that would help us when we do these sessions again. Any suggestions in which we could use would be very useful to us. So I'll wait for just 3 or 4 minutes if you can take some time and fill up the feedback form.
The link is taking time to open. Or maybe I can copy the link and I can fill
Yes.
it.
Yeah. Those of you who can fill it up, that would be nice. If you
I'll copy the link and I'll fill it on Google.
Sure.
Maybe I'll do that.
Is it better if I share this link on the WhatsApp group? Will that be more convenient?
It would be convenient.
Whatever, Rupali,
I'll
I don't
honest,
mind.
sometimes,
so long as I'm able to open it, which
yeah,
I'm not
Dr.
able.
Rupali, my only experience has been usually when it is shared later. Not that people don't want to do it, but some other task takes over, and this just stays undone.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that
Let
if
me-
people
let
find
me
it convenient to do it on the phone, I can share this link right now in the WhatsApp group.
Yeah, that would be a lovely idea. That could be a
Yeah. I'll just do that. I'll do that.
Okay. Okay, so I have the feedback.
Excellent. We'll wait for about 4 minutes. It won't take
No. I have it. I'm just filling it.
Sir, meanwhile, can I ask a question?
Yes, sir. Harpreet ji.
Harpreet, you're muted.
What is the role of families of people with visual impairments and how they have to adapt to face this challenge?
What is the role of families with visual impairment
with
and
visual
what
impairment.
can they do to adapt? Yes. Who would like to take this question? Anybody? Any of our colleagues? Zarna, would you like to take the question? Ganesh, would you like?
Hello, sir.
Abhay ji, bataiye.
Yes, sir. Sir, good evening, first of all. And sir, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible, sir.
Yeah. Yes, sir. First of all, I want to tell you that I lost my vision when I was in class 10th. And there I feel the support of my family and my guardians as well. So, sir, if I want to share my experiences of that time, because that time all my family members they were in shock or in trauma. But my father, who was a very determined kind of person, so he told me one thing, that I have that capacity that I will feed you for a whole life. But if you become if you want to stand on your own, then you have to means think upon that. So at that time, my father and my younger means older sisters, they helped me a lot, and in every circumstances they supported me, means in my admission, because that time I was in class 10th. So no schools, no special schools were taking admission because I am not knowing Braille that time. So there my means sisters were very means they ran in various schools. They go school to schools in Delhi as well as in Lucknow. At the end, in Lucknow, Spurs Inter College, I got my admission, but they have they have given a condition that we will take your admission if you will learn Braille within 2-3 months, and we will not provide you hostel. So that time my family locked our home. I was in Sitapur, and locked our home, and they all went to Lucknow and they stayed with me for a year. And after that, I was given hostel by the school when I went to means when I was in high school. And that 1 year, my family all became means familiar with my ways, and they provide me every facilities which I want. And after that, I completed my graduation, my 12th, and then I went to BHU for my UG and PG. Now I am a research scholar. So family means support is very necessary for a person who lost his vision at any age, I think. So and one more thing, that if your parents are means literate, then you have very less problems. And if your family is illiterate and living in some distant part of the city, then that problem was very means your problem is very critical. So there what I means experience is your family support is very necessary. And now my family and all my means relatives are known that what a visually impaired person can do, and what are their different ways of adapting things. So that's my means answer to that, I think.
Thank you, Abhayji. As Abhay said, it's about getting help when you need it the most from the people who matter the most to you. And I think that the family plays such an important role. I have interacted with Ganesh in the past. I've met some of his family members. I've seen how the support that, Ganesh, when you lost your sight at the age of 9, what were the two options available to you, and how did you manage?
Thank you very much for an enthralling session helping to learn that inclusivity should be a part of our
Yeah, honestly speaking, it was a really shattering experience for me because till the age of 9, I could see the world, and then one day I was not able to see. I was not able to see anything. So it was really difficult because the things which I used to get before independently, now I had to ask someone for getting those things. So I was regretting a lot why this happened to me only. But as you asked me about the available options, I must say at that time I had only two options. One is to cry and the other one is to try. And I took both the options because I'm also human, can't really hide emotions. So I also cried for, let's say, for a month or two. And then, my sister and my brother-in-law, they gave me the real hope, and they said, yeah, facilities are available in cities and we should move ahead. So I would like to thank my sister and my brother-in-law for supporting me throughout. They are still supporting me. I'm staying with them only in Mumbai, and hats off to my mom, dad also, because they should believe in three of us. Yeah, इन्हें permission देंगे तो ये कुछ अच्छा life में करेंगे. So my mom, dad, they do miss me even right now, but as far as I'm doing something nice in my life, they are happy with it. So then we came to Mumbai. I joined Happy Home and School for the Blind. Joining Happy Home was an eye-opener for me because I saw other visually impaired students there, and they were good in academics. They were taking part in all the extracurricular activities. Looking at them, I just realized one thing: here I am also just like them, right? Though I don't have a vision, but I surely have a brain. So that day I decided, okay, I will never give up in my life. I will use, I will make full use of my brain. And since that day, I started taking that second option, try wala. And because of that second option, I feel I'm here today as an independent individual. So it's really important for parents also to accept the situation, accept the disability, and just to look forward what we can do best, moving ahead. So it's not an option getting stuck at one point and cribbing about things which you don't have. Instead of that, it's better for everyone to move ahead with whatever available options we have.
Thanks, Ganesh. I think that's a lovely note on which to end this very, very informative and very interactive session. Thanks to all of you for having participated in these activities, not allowed it to become a monologue where only one or two people were speaking, but for all of us together to come together and understand what this world is about. Because I believe that if we can understand what this world is about, we can allow, we can then spread the word in the colleges that we teach in as well. Whether it is about Ganesh, whether it's about Ambudji, whether it's about Zarna Maheshwari, remember that, the CPU is intact, right? The CPU is intact. Some hard disk here may have crashed, some hard disk here may have crashed, some hard disk somewhere else may have crashed. Hard disks can be repaired, they can be replaced, we can find ways to move forward. So keeping that in mind, thanks very much for inviting Ganesh and me to do this introductory session. I hope you have a very, very exciting FDP ahead and that it will be enriching and rewarding in equal measure to all of you. Thank you, Dr. Rupali.
Thank you so much, sir, and thank you so much, Ganesh, for joining us today. I must say that it doesn't happen every day that you realize how difficult every little thing can be and how privileged we are. I mean, not that we don't know, but when you struggle with every little thing, then you realize that you realize what kind of privileges you have. And this ending this session on this very beautiful phrase that Ganesh has given, cry versus try. And I think that it was an amazing session, very interactive, and there was so much to learn from experience, not just hearing things, but experiencing themselves and putting yourself in someone else's shoes. So I would on behalf of everyone over here and STTP Khalsa College, the CDRT of our college and KMC, I would like to thank you for such an amazing session. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
To the participants, I would like to say that our next session begins at 5:30. So we have an hour's break right now.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we'll see you at 5:30.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll use the same link for that session?
Yes, the link will remain the same.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.